Here we are, Tom Forts Mayor. We are live in everywhere across the social media globe. We're here discussing what would appear to be take two of this discussion we started up a while ago. If you are jumping on, everyone, please do say hello. We are we're having another discussion. We've talked about this before, non-traditional relationships, monogamish. It's something that's just so coming up in my life and something I'm talking about. So we thought, why not have a discussion? I got on this and I'm like, I've had enough of relationships. I've had enough of this idea of ever being in one. I'm just going to be single forever, be on my own. Something's going on in the world where everyone wants some fucking different thing other than just one person all of the time. And it's driving me crazy. Hey, Haley. So if you are jumping on, please do leave a comment. Hello, Janetta. Hello, Trish. Anyone who is leaving a comment, we would love to interact with you. Just before we do, I'd love to introduce you to this amazing man. Hey, Trish. Who I just love spending Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. with you, which is your lunchtime over in the
My
UK.
lunchtime. Yeah. My Tuesday lunch. I like it.
Yes. So why don't you introduce yourself, Tom Fords Mayor?
Thank you, Jess. As ever, a
Yes.
pleasure to be with you.
Yes.
The last 20 years, I've just been obsessed with what makes us happy and what makes us unhappy, and what can be done to make life easier. And so, obviously, that covers a lot of area. And so, what we do, you and I here, is we kind of pick a topic and kind of open it up, but not from the place of rigidity or the absolute known. We're here to evolve our understanding by talking about it and to try not to be rigid. So we might actually agree with each other, but we still try and challenge the thinking, try and apply critical thinking to our thinking so that we can, try and learn something new together. And maybe if that's of value for people watching, then that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Kelsey's like, his voice again. She loves your voice. So yeah, tonight we're going to explore. I got, right before we do this show, Tom and I have this discussion, like, what are we going to talk about tonight? We always like to talk about topical things that are happening for us as a way of potentially making, you can see yourself in us. And I was like, I'm like done. I'm done with this whole relationship things. I'm just going to be fucking on my, I'm even swearing a lot. Excuse me. I'm just done. I'm done. I've had enough. I don't want to do relationships anymore. Everyone wants some other weird thing other than just being on, some, fucking monogamous thing. I don't even think I want monogamy, but I don't know what I want, and I'm just not sure. So I'm just tapping out all together. I've had enough. I'm triggered as fuck. I'm out. Had enough.
And listen, bless you. And I know you're laughing, right? I know you're laughing.
Yes.
And you're also, this is not easy stuff, right? You're in pain, right? You're angry and you're hurting. And, you had or have hopes that you could connect with this person in meaningful ways. And yet, I definitely do think I'm experiencing quite a lot of just mismatching in a lot of different areas where just things aren't quite just, there's a lot of challenge around things just flowing and fitting into place. Everything's been pulled apart. And there's beauty in that. This is a time for us to really, really look at our beliefs, look at our values, and question them. And so this is raw and real and beautiful. And I'm not being flippant about how shit it is. So I hear you. So what's going on? Let's get out of the abstract into the real.
We're going straight into we're gonna go straight into it. Well, it is raw, real, amplify, right? We're gonna amplify the message. And I don't think I'm alone here. So I think this is important. I think, wow, I feel like I'm gonna cry. This could get real. This could get really real. So what is it? I actually feel like I'm weird because I actually just want one person. I feel like wanting one person has become weird and not normal. And it's like that there's something wrong with you if all you want is, I'm so triggered. I can feel myself and just getting angry. Right?
Yeah. So hold on.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful of your circles, right? It's like the main out there. The main is still monogamy, right? You're in the majority, okay? And yet it is really, really valuable to look at where do those ideas come from? Where do we know what is real for us, what is true for us, and understanding that sometimes some of those traditional monogamy models aren't maybe our natural way of being, but because we can, we want stability and we don't want our feelings to be hurt, we might choose that so that we're more comfortable, because not everyone wants to live on the edge of their seat the whole time worrying about whether their partner still loves them. Now I know lots of people who are kind of into non-monogamy. They were like, well, I don't do that. I'm completely cool with what my partner does. Maybe in the beginning it was challenging, but some people manage to ride that well. When we spoke about this last time, where we got to was that it wasn't so much about monogamy and non-monogamy. It was like there was a whole bunch of bogus shit that people don't manage it well, they don't communicate well, they're not authentic, and so that's a different thing, right? But it's also really, really early on when we've met someone. This is really common when we've met someone. Most people really enjoy kind of being single, right? Because there's got a lot of freedom in it. And then when you meet someone, there's a lot of, if they're really meaningful or potentially meaningful, there's a lot of complexity in the early stages. There's a lot of, toing and froing and coming in and out of commitment. And as you're becoming more committed, it's like something's setting, and it's like, it can be very, very challenging because you kind of pull back as you're leaning in, and there's a lot that could be going on. So you might be on your way to having what you want, but it's just, it's very painful in the beginning whilst you're trying to work that out.
Is it? I know. I think I had this. I feel like we had this evolutionary discussion last time, and now I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just done, right? So it's almost like I went from, I really get what Tom's saying. That was really beautiful, and I really like that. And it's almost like I went from that to, no, I don't want to do this. I just want to tap out. I've had enough.
Yeah. And listen, it's like Facebook user, right? She's been together with someone since 14. They've been, it's been hard at times, but it's glorious, right? It can't, it's getting better and better, and they're in a monogamous deal. It's like, I know lots of really happy monogamous people, right? So it's like, it is, this is one thing I will say that I hate about some of the non-traditional models is within those circles there can be this kind of idea, we're the enlightened ones, and if you're not cool enough with yourself to be non-monogamous, then you're kind of it's only down to fear and you're not really liberated enough. That's bullshit. It's like some people just I hate the idea that it would be some kind of value judgment, or enlightenment judgment or any of that bullshit.
Yeah, and I don't even know what I was going to say. I just know that I came on here going, I know that I put myself on the line. I mean, I have this beautiful colleague and housemate, Emily, who's just like, I love that you dive into things, allow yourself to get triggered as fuck, and feel it all so that you can experience it and share it back. I mean, that's really my life. It's like, I will not hold back. So I want everyone to get that I'm actually okay. I don't want you to think that there's anything wrong here. It's not. I intentionally throw myself into life and allow anything that happens, right? But what I'm grappling with this time, and I know Tom loves this, he lives for this. He comes for 9 a.m. He comes here and goes, what can we protest tonight, right? It's like there's this inadequacy for me. I feel like I'm inadequate, and you're right. I feel like I've become inadequate if I can't open myself up to being okay for anything to happen. And at the same time, and I sort of said this last time, at the same time, I want to be okay with it, but I kind of had to get really real with myself today and go, I'm not. I want to be. And I'm not.
Huh. I hear you. So has something happened, or are you just talking about something happening?
Nothing's happened.
Hmm.
Nothing actually has happened,
Yep.
apart from me. Oh God. I suppose things have happened. I just don't really want to talk about them. I am like dancing around it because I don't want to talk about it.
Huh.
And you know what it would mean for me not to talk about it? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it.
Hmm.
So can we what have we got here?
So a lot of people giving you props for, you know, chucking yourself in and exposing yourself for your own, you know, for people watching to understand. Lots of people saying that it really is a choice and you don't need to force yourself, and that it isn't for everybody.
No, it isn't.
So
Like
what
our
I'm just curious,
conversation.
what I'm curious about, and just is
Yeah.
I definitely know some people who their love works in a certain way, where when they love, it's like their sexuality, and I think this is outside of conditioning, it's just the way their love works, that they just, you know, that person becomes the absolute apple of their eye, sole focus of their heart. And whilst they might see other people that are attractive, there's no control element for them at all. They really are happy to have that single focused. I'm just curious, like when you're really loved up, you see, it's always been interesting to me, almost like when I'm with someone and I'm, you know, like in the first flush of romance and I'm feeling really loved and I'm feeling really loving, it's like, you know, it's like, I want to make love to the world, you know, it's like everyone becomes more beautiful to me, you know, and it's like, so I'm just curious, like, because I have a lot of conversations with men who would like a bit more freedom in their relationship, but they don't want their partner being free, right? They're like, yeah, sure, yeah, I'd like to sleep with other women, but I wouldn't want my woman to sleep with other men, so I'm not going to go for a model like that. Or they, you know, they use deceit and dishonesty and have their affairs. But I'm just curious, when you're in love, is that it? Your no one else captures your eye in a way where there's an energy to being drawn to being sexual with other people?
Yeah, it does seem to be that way. That's what I really get about myself is I don't know, I really am. When I really fall for someone, it seems to be that I just am so devoted.
So then that's your answer. You see, if you were just trying to control them and really you had that kind of that more poly energy, even when totally loved up, well then for me that's more about it's coming from fear and coming from control. But if
Oh no,
that's
I don't.
so if that's the truth of your of the way in which your emotional sexual map goes when you're deeply in love, if that's the truth, of course then you would crave someone that would treat you in the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a monogamous person and that's your value system, and it's absolutely vital for you then to be intimate with someone that shares those values. Now,
Yeah.
I've made the mistake before, as I've kind of started to realize that I was, you know, monogamish, um, and then fell in love with someone that, you know, had experimented with that before, had been hurt, and had decided that they definitely only wanted monogamy. And I was like, oh, well, I really like you, you know, and it's like, yeah, that didn't, you know, it's like, I think it's really good to know where you are and what's the truth for you. And of course it can move, but then picking people appropriately to match that, because then it's going to work. Otherwise it's squashing yourself into a certain box or making your partner squash themselves into a certain box. That doesn't work.
No, and I don't want that either. Like, I'm very clear more than anything, despite that that's how I am, you know, and I kind of, in a way, resist my own desire for that. I know you're reading.
Yeah, there's some
But
long posts coming in saying that.
yeah, there is. Like, I resist my own desire. It's like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be okay with just not being like that. I actually really get this idea of exploration and being self and self-expression. And I kind of get it. And I really am okay with it. And there's this resistance I have to my own self-desire for just actually wanting someone to be fully devoted to me. And I I kind of get sad because I meet these beautiful people, and and then I know we're not aligned.
Yeah.
And it's fine with me, but it isn't at the same time. So
yeah, well, listen, I get that disappointment, and giving space for those feelings. It's like, oh, it sucks when people don't have the same model, right? But I think it's so important and really beautiful for you to be really clear about who you are and what you really want, and you can't compromise on that. Now, in fact, there are some people who just in the beginning bit aren't quite ready to make those commitments. So they might be thinking that they want more freedom than is actually true of their heart when they're really connected. So giving people a bit of patience to work that out in the beginning. But, some people are talking here about connecting with someone, and it was a friends with benefits, but they're friends with benefits. But then they were catching feelings. And
I met a man last year, a few months. He didn't know if he wanted to be in a relationship, so we stopped seeing each other. I missed him. 5 weeks ago, we met up again, spoke about friends with benefits. He said yes, but we're straight away. My heart started to feel him. I couldn't do friends with benefits, so we're now dating. I'm scared, but I don't want to be without him. I'm exactly the same. Okay, love it. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, the heart goes where the heart goes, doesn't it? And I'm sorry, you go.
There's something to be said. What I've seen sometimes of how this kind of plays out, it's like there's a thing where we're given a close but no cigar. We're given something which is very, very close but not quite right. And if we can have the courage and the self-worth and the self-value to call it as such, then we're just improving our order. We're fine-tuning. The universe doesn't have a set plan. We are the universe, finding out what we want as we grow, as we go. And so it's like we're a self-reflective, self-organizing principle. And so by trying something, feeling into it, it's like, no, this edge of consciousness doesn't like that fit. This is the fit. This is the calling. And therefore, by being very clear about your edge, then your place will become more apparent, and the things that fit you will turn up because of your clarity.
Yeah, I do get that. And there's this part of me that's like, it sucks. Because, I have this saying, love is not enough.
I love that phrase. I say that all the time to my clients.
It is never enough. I feel like I can be so in love with someone and still not actually match and be aligned with them. And that sucks. And that's what my housemate was saying to me tonight. Like, she just loves that I can go to love and I fully throw myself in, but I will always act on alignment.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Love is not like
it sucks.
Yeah, it's like, so another phrase that I have heard, which I love, which I've shared with clients, is connection does not equate to compatibility.
No, it doesn't.
Which is weird, huh?
It sucks. It sucks.
Carol says it's broken heart is good for losing a stack of weight.
It's true, actually.
With your picture, aptly demonstrates, Carol, I will say.
Yes, Carol. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, it's like, yeah, that's. Hang on, let me have a look. True, love is not enough. That's a very good question, Amanda Burnett. How is single throwing yourself in?
It's quite a big question.
Okay. So even when I'm single, I will allow myself to feel everything if I come in contact with someone that, I might feel something for. So,
but if you maintain the single status whilst you're just exploring if you want to move to the committed status, it isn't necessarily the greatest indicator of commitment that would evoke in the other a willingness to shut out all other options.
Can you see that again? I don't know. My brain wanted to hear what you just said. Okay,
so if you're, we talked before about sometimes you stay with the kind of ideology of being single, but you ask for a commitment for the others whilst you're exploring if you want to go to a committed relationship, right? So it's a weird thing. You're not you're not in a committed relationship, but for an interim, you're asking for commitment to safely explore whether you want to go to the next level, right? And unfortunately, that's all very safe and sensible, but actually, that just doesn't communicate commitment, right? So it communicates an openness to a potential commitment. So for a lot of people, that doesn't evoke in them the switch where other people are off the table to them. So if in this period of time you have been going, yes, I'm committed, yes, I'm really into you, yes, it's going the right way, but I'm maintaining my single status, and then that person's talking to you about being open and available to other people, maybe that's not because that's what they want if you move to the next level. Maybe that's just a reflection of how you have been in this interim.
Okay. Let me feel into that, Tom.
You don't. I mean, it's possible. It's possible that actually, this person is like, actually, no. If we were in fully committed, I'd still want to be sex with other people.
Well, that's it. That's yeah.
But actually, had you completely taken them off the table with a full commitment, we're in, that's it, I'm not single, it's you and I, that's a transformational force. Sometimes that can flip that switch for others where they're like, you're my girl and you're my only girl, and let's try. People are so tentative in the beginning that they end up doing quite a lot of damage to each other.
I can see that. I can actually see that, and that's actually part of why I think, I'm trying to do this thinking and work because I understand that I'm like, I'm someone that was in a relationship for 13 years. I came out of it 2.5 years ago, and it's almost like something flipped in me where I'm now in this resistance to ever wanting to get hurt like that again, right? So I notice that what I do is I'm like, is this it? No, I'm out. So it's like, I don't know. It's almost like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but I never used to be like that. It's almost like when I played soccer, I remember I used to play soccer, and I was about to go play for Australia, and I was like fully into it, and I'd go into the tackles, and I didn't care if I was going to get injured. And then I broke my knee, and I never, ever got to experience going to Australia again because I never went fully into everything ever again.
Nice analogy. Nice analogy. And it's all understandable, but it definitely is not. It's not a scientific or logical or effective way to assess the other person's level of commitment to you. Because people will protect themselves from being disappointed in the same way by keeping a back door open. One of the keys to successful relating is like locking the back door, throwing the key away, cementing it over. You can walk out the front door together and go your separate ways, but it's like so many people keep an insurance policy on the back burner.
How come you think that is?
Because people are afraid to be hurt. People are, even when they're happy in their relationship, they there's this raft jumping, where some people just, they're just like, they've got an eye on a few possible parallel loves that they stoke slightly, either energetically or actually directly with flirting, and it's just like, sometimes that ultimate commitment, is transformational.
The ultimate commitment is transformational.
As in, like, when we really lock the back door, we cement it over, we step in fully, we drop all of the single committed stuff, and we just jump in. It can change how people want to then commit to us.
I do get that. I actually really do get that. I know that that's how I've been in business, right? When I went out of business and went from I'm in corporate, I'm in a job, and then I was like, I'm in entrepreneurship. This is all up to me. It was transformational.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
had myself on the line, on the hook. I was like, I'm not going back to a job. I started posting things that would make sure that I never got a job ever again because it was just way too confronting.
no.
I was online. I was like, I now can never get a job.
That's good. That's good. You see that commitment, but it's transformational, that level of commitment,
It was.
And it makes
It
sense
was.
sometimes to be tentative in the beginning, but it doesn't communicate the kind of power that makes the other person feel safe enough to really jump in with us. Now, some people are asking there, someone's asked, is it possible for an open relationship to be healthy? It's like, yeah, it can be. It can be fraught with complexity and there are so many different models, so open relationships or polyamorous or monogamish, but it's, they can be liberating because of the quality of the communication and the quality of the honesty that makes them work. It can be very, very powerful, and processing the part of you that is possessive and the part of you that fears your inadequacy or adequacy, working on that stuff. So as in terms of personal development, open relationships, polyamorous relationships can be profoundly empowering.
This is a very good question. Why is commitment synonymous to monogamy? I actually really like that question because I don't believe it should be either. I'm like, it's not. Commitment is commitment. It doesn't have to be monogamy. It doesn't have to be, you can have a commitment no matter where you're at.
Yep.
And, I'm curious to understand you because you don't have a traditionally monogamous relationship, Tom. You gave me the opportunity to ask you about that, so I'm going to now. But you have commitments, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely closer to monogamish than polyamorous, right? So polyamory, and again, there's a lot of variety within that world, but that's essentially the freedom to have deep, loving, and meaningful connections with more than one person, including sexual contact, right? And some people, that's 3 people living in a house together. Other people, they have just their separate lovers. There's all sorts of different formats and models. For my partner and I, we're not currently interested in going away and having separate romances with different people. Right, but we're vibrant sexual beings who have appetites for variety and for connecting with others, and we're not on about just going away and just like for me, there's a big difference between going away and having meaningless sex. We're not interested in that either. We like sex with connection, and we like connecting with glorious people, and so we go and do that together. Now, we haven't been doing that for a few years because we've been having so many flipping babies. So whilst we've been having babies, that hasn't, that hasn't felt right, hasn't felt safe, hasn't felt really appropriate. And so all of that's on pause, but we're really excited to kind of get back to that, which equated to, maybe 4 or 5 times a year going to events where we could connect with others together and separately. But it was very, very boundaried, very, very boundaried. Lots of committed rules and a lot of commitment to each other, where we're really, really careful, and we have a lot of safe words and a lot of abilities and a lot of freedom, so that if for any reason I was connecting with somebody else and my partner had finished connecting with someone else, or they just didn't like what they saw, or they just were feeling insecure, then they can come over, they can say a word, I will stop immediately. We gave each other a lot of safety and security within it. Yeah,
and that sounds like you're having kids, right? And you're the guy, because I mean, I've been in the situation where I've had kids, and I've not been giving birth because my partner was a woman, and it's not easy being the other partner to someone who's pregnant, right? You would want to go out and be with other people and not being around a mad pregnant woman, but what I can hear is that your commitment was no. Are we flashing? It looks like our screen is flashing. Anyway, what I can hear is that your commitment was to each other, and it's like, well, right now it's not appropriate. It's not working. You had a commitment that you both came up that worked for you. That you both were inspired and able to kind of get behind together.
Yeah, but it's also more beautiful than that. You know what? For me, having either been unfaithful when I was younger or really battled not to be unfaithful. And for a long time, believing that there was something wrong with me, that I was a bad human, you know, because the world will tell you that if you're in a committed relationship and you're unfaithful to someone, that is not allowed, right? Now, I get that because you've made a commitment. But for me, my inability to be able to do that with ease made me feel there was something wrong with me. So now, for me, what I love about the freedom I have with my partner now is not about the fact that we've had loads and loads of sexual contact with other people. We're really new to this. We haven't, barely at all, because we got pregnant so soon in being together. But for me, the thing I love more than anything is the honesty and the fact that all of me is welcome. So, you know, she goes to the gym when it was open. It's like, oh, did you have a nice flirt with anyone in the jacuzzi? You know, it's like, oh, it's just open, you know, and that honesty, and we can appreciate other people who are absolutely gorgeous, you know, but for me, it's the fact that I've been seen and I'm allowed, and the fact that she knows that I would love to be sexual with like the world. To her, she sees that as part of my glorious energy and isn't threatened by it. And weirdly, I am far less likely to act out, far less likely to be driven. There's nothing suppressed. And I can't tell you how liberating that is, that nothing is suppressed in that. It's like I feel more seen, more welcome, more allowed, more whole. And she then represents a partner that's like, why would I ever want to leave her? And not like, I historically, certainly when I was younger, in my 20s, I'd be with amazing people. And they're like, really, this is going to be the last person I'm ever going to sleep with. You know, it's like that thought bothered me. And in so many relationships, to be faithful, I had to squash my sexuality to be faithful. And so that unfortunately ends up happening at home. So you become like flatmates with a kind of roomie where there's no sexual charge because my sexuality had to be switched off. Now, that isn't true for everybody. And definitely, you know, if you learn Tantra and stuff like that, then actually connecting in ways which are more spiritual in your sexuality, then it can just get better and better and better over the years. It doesn't have to drop off. But yeah, for me, it's not about being able to go and be sexual with other people. It's about being honest about my full range of sexual expression.
Did it start out like that? Were you growing your relationship from that place in the beginning?
Yeah, well, we actually, but we were friends beforehand, and I'd done some Tantra training, and in that I had seen non-traditional models and seen some beauty in them. And then I'd been like her friend while she was going on that journey, and we were just talking about freedom. You know, our shared value is actually freedom and not people being limited in their life, and the beauty of that. And so we really bonded on the principle of freedom and non-restriction and understanding. It's like, I love the concept of compersion from the world of polyamory, which is, you know, and I have experienced this, and which is I have sat back and watched my partner be sexual with other people and seen that she was really enjoying herself and just felt joy for her, just absolute joy for her, you know?
Yeah.
And I also innocently saw her connecting with this one person. They were just kissing, and it freaked me out, and it completely got to me. And I had to ask her to stop, you know, and she did, and we talked it through, and that felt safe. But it's not always easy, you know, and it's not always the most intense thing that you might think would challenge you or trigger you.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's what I can hear that you've got is a whole lot of safety and freedom. And it's all in a background of a lot of commitment.
Massive.
Like there's a whole lot of commitment. So you're not unsafe that things could end at any time. There's no volatility there.
No, and we're really clear. We are only interested in kind of connecting with other people who are polyamorous, because then there's no one trying to steal. Like if we maybe later on we wouldn't have that distinction or control because we're new. But if we were connecting with people who were monogamous and then they fall for us or they fall for my partner, then they will try and take them away from me. They will try and steal her because they would want her for herself. But if they're polyamorous, what's there to steal? There's no shortage. There's no possession. There's no territory. So by being able to make sure we're really clear that it's only really safe for us to play with other people that are open. Otherwise, it's a threat. So we've put a lot of, and also just glorious people. We're like, were they glorious? You know, it's like, I don't want to mix energies with someone that isn't glorious. You know, it's like, and I don't want to bring that back home. And I want someone who's like, it's been interesting because there's been a few times where, you know, we're in the same social space, and then how does the person you've just connected with then go and connect with your partner in a way that's respectful and honoring and sensitive to the fact that that might have been slightly challenging for them to witness. And actually in those circles, what I've seen is just so many super conscious, super conscientious people who are super kind in relationship to your partner and to what you else have going on. And it's amazing in those events, the conversations people have about their primaries and their secondaries and, you know, all these different, you know, hierarchies of connection and so on. And it's like, I've seen that actually there's a massive amount of conscientiousness and communication. And this is very, very different to where a lot of people have been burnt, where they've been in a monogamous relationship. It starts to fail after probably a decade. And then they think, oh, you know what, maybe we should have an open relationship. And that's where people get a lot of their data about what this is like. And it's like, that is not the time to open up your relationship. You know?
Yeah. Well, what do you think about being in the beginnings of something where you're both like really single? Because firstly, I want to acknowledge, I love how you talk about this. Like, you actually inspire me into a life where there's safety, security, expression, freedom. I mean, that sounds great. I don't feel that around these kind of relationships at all. And I never have. You know, and I'm sort of teetering on it at the moment. And I'm like, it feels so unsafe. It's so triggering. Like I think about how I feel about, you know, I've told you how I feel about the person that I've been seeing. And it just makes me sad because I don't experience that. We're both single. It's new. It's like, it's more like we're single, but not, you know, it's like, I don't know. It doesn't feel safe at all.
I mean, I think, I mean, my partner and I, we wouldn't have opened it up right in the beginning, you know, because I think you need to build that foundation, you know, and, you know, it really helped for us as well that our actual physical connection was so stellar that it was like, you know, for a while there, we needed to believe that it was fine for us to connect with other people as long as our connection was the best. Right. But actually, we've matured that now because actually that's a fear-based control mechanism. And it's like, actually, my partner, and at our first event we went to, my partner had an extraordinary experience with somebody else. And that was, it was literally like the universe going, really? Can you really be okay with this being actually, she's going to have sometimes more profound experiences with someone else for reasons that you could never meet. And it's like, is that okay? You know, and it's like, so Maggie's saying, you know, oh, she has that with her husband. So bless him.
Well, there's people that have this, right? And that's what I mean. It sounds amazing. And I think it's almost like there are times it works and there are times it doesn't. And by the sounds of it, you get to a place where there's this foundational layer of safety, security, freedom, communication, and so you can't really create on top of that until that's there.
Yeah, I think.
And then,
but also, well, when we first began, we did it together. We did it together, so we were connecting with other people together, and that really helped us get into it. That was a kind of a safer inroad, you know.
Yeah. Okay. So you first of all do things together because then it's like there's this solidarity and like partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So these events, you know, we would go there and we would connect in the first kind of wave with each other, have that foundation, and then we would connect with other people together. Our first journeys into that were done in that way, and that felt, you know, really safe and fun, actually, sharing that together.
Yeah. So there's this real partnership. There's this sense of there's still commitment here. I can hear there's real commitment that you have to each other.
For sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. We started with a lot of commitment. A lot of commitment. I was in all the way. And from there, that and the connection was so off the chart that it just felt very safe. It felt very safe.
Yeah.
We've both done a lot of market research, let's put it that way.
Yeah. I like people saying whatever works for you. It takes a lot of works and deposits in the relationship. Shit, that's where I start. Is it wrong-ish? You know, there's all sorts of people, you know, adding different things here, whatever works for you. And I think, I mean, I've talked to you about this before. My experience of this is really, there was no foundation of commitment. There was no, well, that what I thought was a sense of partnership. There's no sense of partnership. You know, what I'm feeling now is like there's no sense of safety.
Yeah.
In fact, it's like I've gone all in on something, and not all in, but I've fully expressed myself. And what are you laughing at? You like
because within the label of remaining single, and I think that is not is fully expressed version of you, but it's not a fully committed beginning. So that would, I just think you have to take some responsibility for that. That if that was different, that might be different.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
Well,
but
I don't know. But
you're right. Yes, I have said that I wanted to remain single. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe actually I don't.
It's difficult because you made a commitment to yourself, didn't you, to remain single, right?
Yes, I did.
So that's probably but if I was if you know, I can imagine if someone was partnering with you, that's a slight values clash. It's a slight limitation that would, you know, prevent me from jumping all in.
I get that.
You know, and it's fine because that's normal. People don't jump straight in straight away. They tend to, you know, and it's healthier to, you know, check for alignment, check for real compatibility, and take your time.
Yeah.
But it's but in that, it's it can leave space for other people to be open.
EJ, oh fuck, I love her. Yep, he's on point with that. I don't think you want to be single.
I mean, you know, when we first spoke about it, you know, I was like, that commitment you made yourself. You know, I believe in the spiritual pivot. You know, best laid plans. You know, it's like the essence in that commitment to yourself was really important, and I think it's really important to, what did you call them? U-Haul lesbians. You know, where you move all your stuff in 2 weeks, right? It's your phrase, right? It's like, of course, there's a difference, but I think the best way to test real compatibility is to jump in fully and deeply, not give each other keys and move in straight away.
Yeah.
But actually, you know, to test the compatibility is to jump in fully. It's possible you might then get the foundation of safety that enables you to be slightly more relaxed about a bit more openness. But I
clarity.
think, yeah, maybe. But from what you said, when you talked about what happens for you when you're deeply, deeply in love, that you're really not that interested in being sexual with other people, then I just think it's really good for you to like own, you know, and it's not like it's weird kink I'm asking you to own. This is the norm, right? This is the norm, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful for you to really stand in your power of that, right?
Yeah, and I think, look, I do. And then there's this element of me, and this is EJ going, I love you. Thanks, I love you too, EJ. I saw her in the street yesterday. I was talking to her. And I think there's one thing I know about myself is that I'm very, I'm just going to say it. I'm a very, very connected to my own sexual energy, and I love to express it. Right? I love to express it through dance, through work, through conversation, through whatever it is. It doesn't, for me, mean it has to be satisfied sexually with someone else. But I've never, ever, ever experienced what you're talking about, Tom. You know, I'm not saying I wouldn't be open it. I've never experienced the safety, the commitment, the what you're talking about. I've never the freedom. I mean, there's nothing more important to me than freedom. It doesn't matter who I'm with. I'm always like, what do you want? What's really important to you? I'm like really open and up for how can I fucking have this person have what they want. That's like more than anything more important to me. I'm not trying to go, how can I control you and keep you here? It's like, how can I have this person fully unlock their expression? It's like more important to me than anything. But this foundation of commitment and couple is really like, I don't know. That's so important to me.
But I think as well, I think something that really helps is every time my partner have gone to something, an event where we've had a chance to connect with other people, you know, then when we come back together, the excitement and the connection and the feeling of gratitude and the feeling of like safety, you know, it's like we let each other go and then we've come back and we're stronger for it. I'm just wanting to read these comments here. When it is flowing organically, then gets cut off while both are falling with "I want to be single." Yeah, it's kind of what I've been saying, Amanda. That the keeping on to the label of single is going to really get in the way of a connection that's going to make both parties feel safe, safe enough to explore with each other, even or with other people.
Yeah, I get that.
People honoring you for your openness and your honesty, which is nice.
You're welcome. Oh, wow, I'm like really feeling it right now. Like this experience in my body right now is like, it's you know, Tom, like firstly, I just want everyone to know that I'm a big believer in having private conversations openly. Because I just think it's so normal to be human and to experience like the ebbs and flows of life. And this whole idea of keeping it somehow locked away. I mean, someone even said, and they've left the conversation, you guys need to have a private chat. You know, in the very beginning of this conversation, I'm like, no, we don't need to have a private chat. You know, this is so important that these conversations are open because people are really fucking struggling with them. But I just want to say, it's hard. I think I just want to share this. It's hard. No, it's not. Hard is actually a story. It's not real. There's this real fear of making the wrong choice. And it's almost like what I can hear is, even though I know that I can't make a wrong choice, right? That the idea, I just want someone to treat me like a fucking queen and knock my socks off in a way I've never fucking experienced before. And I'm like, I deserve that. And then I know what you're saying is like, how can you even get that if all you do is claim singleton and put your flag up when you know there's no way of even allowing that to be possible, right? And potentially there is this opportunity to explore all these other things called non-monogamy because there's this foundation of commitment. And I'm like, the idea of having someone have my back in such a way that I feel so fucking safe and so is just delicious to think about, but I've never had that. And it's like all the things, all of that. It's like, oh my God, I love the idea of having someone that I feel that safe with. And I've
So,
never had.
so you have to, and you said it. You said it. You know what? I have these guards up because I want to make sure I'm making the right choices, and I don't want to get hurt again. And it's like, yeah, not wanting to be hurt again, totally understandable, no judgment. But not wanting to be hurt again and wanting to be met in the way that you described, mutually exclusive. Now,
Yeah.
someone that can see your value, which is tangible, it's common to, my partner, when we first got together, it was very inconvenient for her to have fallen in love with me. I have ex-wives and, complexity, children with other people, it wasn't her choice. And she struggled with commitment to me early on. So in making that choice, and I had to be very patient while she struggled with pushing me away. So we'd have these amazing weekends together, and then she'd fall out with me on the Sunday night, And one, it was the complexity. Two, is just fear, So we called it this "fuck off, don't leave me" T-shirt she'd put on a Sunday evening.
Is this a woman you're with now?
Yeah. And it was like, and it took me a while to spot it. And then after 3 or 4, I'm like, oh, this is our Sunday. We've had an amazing weekend together, and now you're going to freak out, and you're going to be afraid about getting hurt, or you're afraid it's going to go away. And so I just had to hold really steady. So right now, because you've been hurt in the past, you've got an incredible quality of love to give. You want to have your socks blown off, but you're not ready to blow anyone else's socks off yet by standing for them in other ways that aren't anything theoretical. To be really deeply, fully in, you'd have to choose, and you're not doing that because you're afraid. And that's okay, because anyone worth their salt can be patient with you whilst you drop your defenses. But you can't expect someone to be able to scoop you up, blow you away, whilst someone said, "Fuck off, don't leave me." Wow, my song. It's like, if your drawbridge isn't down, how the hell is anyone going to get into the castle? I'm not sure that's a great analogy, but it's you have to allow, it's that willingness to be hurt again and again and again for the next 14 billion years. It's that eternity of patience. It's not a commitment to you. It's not a commitment to singledom. It's not a commitment to your possible partner. It's a commitment to love.
It is.
You got to make a commitment to love in principle. It's like love, because the truth is, every time love breaks us open, it's doing it because we're holding on to pain which we haven't resolved. So it's like, bring it the fuck on. It's either going to break my heart open so I can get another level of healing, or it's going to be the one that will mean I'll be 95 having the best orgasms of my life with my beloved I've been fucking for 60 years. It's like, either way, what are you going to do? It's like, life doesn't fuck about. It's going to give you blessings either way. Pain is blessings. Pain is just as yet unlistened to freedom. What are you going to do? You're going to hide from the truth of the divine's intervention. It's either going to bless you for being in perfect alignment, or it's going to fuck you up because you've got issues that need to be addressed. Love doesn't mess about, but you can't step outside of the game and expect to experience bliss.
Why did I make a commitment to be single for a year?
Well, I want you to drop that right now, right here and now, because that's not a commitment to love. I know you didn't want to allow the hormones of connection to,
Yeah, I'm pretty clear I'm not doing that anymore, though.
Right, definitely not, right? It's like, don't do that, but don't swing it the other way. I know why you said that, and I honor that, but it's like, you know what? I've learned to not make any rigid plans based on a time scale. Are you kidding me? It's not how life works. That's a human trying to assert control over the chaos of glory. And it's like, there is no right and wrong. You are being offered love, and it will either break you into greatness or it will love you into greatness. It's like, you can't lose. There's nothing to control, nothing to be afraid of. Jump in. And you know what? She might very well just be able to, with that context of safety for her, bring to you everything you'd ever hoped for. And there's, and she could hold you and kiss you, and you could be having the most elegant and eloquent and most delicious kiss, whilst someone else or 2 other people are going down on both of you.
It is possible.
Wait, it's not. It's common, right? That's happening right now, less than 2 miles from your house, right now.
It's true.
It's true. It's definitely happening, right? And it's like that could be amazing for you guys, just for the purpose of you guys having an amazing kiss, right? I know you can, like, on some, you can organize these kind of ritual. I know people, have you said to them, me and my girlfriend want to have the most exquisite 20-minute kiss whilst we're snogging, we need two people to be going down on us. Would you mind facilitating that for us as an act of service?
Oh my God.
Well, listen, put in if you're single, in the comments, and you'd be willing to do that for a couple, just say hell yes.
Oh my God. Now you're a pimp.
All I'm saying is, I think in attempt to...
Yeah, look at this. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And you can then swap, and then you can do that for them. You could be holding the hands of your beloved whilst you're both pleasuring two women who are having the most exquisite kiss the night before they're going to go and get married. You know, it's like there's a world out there of orgasmic potential which you could be using. And this is before you start even getting into using this energy to, you know, make more money or be more creative in your business.
This is true. The sexual energy. Yes.
Sometimes 6 hands can do more than 2. That's all I'm going to say.
I will have to believe you on that one because I've never experienced it. But I believe you. Well, I'd like to just fucking put it out there that I am dropping being single. I'm not doing it.
Yes.
I really am. I'm dropping that, but I'm not dropping sovereignty. And I think I spoke to EJ about that yesterday. It's like I don't have to drop that. And that's what it was, is that I was making some pretty poor choices, and I'm pretty clear I'm not doing that anymore. Yeah. So yeah, I am. And I don't look, I'm just not doing it.
Okay, so
and it doesn't mean anything's going to change. It just means I'm not doing that anymore.
Well, I just agreed. It doesn't have to have any more significant meaning other than the fact that, but I think it's really important to honor. So what I've found, like if I make a commitment to you, Jess, right? If I made a commitment to you in business or in anything, right? And then the world changed, the sand changed under my feet, and I wanted to change the deal, I would come to you and I would speak to you and I would rearrange it with integrity. It's the same with the deals we make with ourselves. Life changes. Okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to have the intention that you're going to drop that, but I want you to go and have a conversation with yourself about the fact you want to renegotiate terms and get an internal agreement around you changing that commitment to yourself so that you can maintain your integrity in your communication with yourself moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah? And I think absolutely I will take that on. Thank you, Tom.
Nice.
And I think the integrity to myself is that I choose based on alignment.
Nice.
Alignment to values, alignment to commitment, alignment to love, alignment to being treated like a fucking queen, alignment to all of the things that I really want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I will do that. Not whether I'm single or that I'm not.
Yeah, because a princess worries about whether she's single and she can't be fucked like a queen, right? But a queen, she doesn't need protection. You know, the princess or the warrioress, they're all about armor. You know, and the warrioress, she sleeps with one eye open. She has armor on. She's got a sword under her pillow, man. It's like the queen, she sleeps in silk. And she doesn't need guards at the door because she runs her queendom so well, everyone fucking loves her.
Yeah, I get it. Totally. Love this. You're allowed to change your mind and choose alignment number 1. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
There is that tongue. Oh, Tom, that tongue.
Someone mentioned my tongue. Who's that? It's Facebook user. We don't know who that is.
Oh, we don't know who it is. I'll see if it's on here. No, I love that. EJ, hashtag fucked like a queen. This is so good. Oh, wow. Just giving that up. Oh, my God. You know what? I've just lost a bottle of Verve Clico. But anyway, I have a friend called, oh, come on. I have a friend called Dave who's basically like, you won't be able to be single because you're piss poor at ever doing it. You know, and I was like, I'm going to prove him wrong.
Good. Good.
And so I just owe him a bottle of champagne. That's all that the impact of that is.
All right. I can give you a little trick to get that back if you want.
What's that?
A little bar trick.
Yeah.
Okay, so if someone's drinking champagne, right? There's got to be champagne open already, right? If you say to the barman, you've got another bottle of champagne, you've lost this bottle of champagne, right? But to win it back, they've already got glass champagne open though, right? It's the only way it works. You say to them that you will drink champagne. You'll dare them that, okay, you'll win it back if you can magically drink champagne out that bottle without opening it, right? And if they can work out how to do that, then you lose the bet. But if they can't and you demonstrate it, then you win the champagne back, right? And they'll do their head in, right? And they'll want to know. And their engagement by which they will choose to know is the deal that if you can do it and you explain how it's done, then you win the champagne back, okay?
Okay.
So it does their head in and they go, all right, fine, show me. At which point you're going to win, because then you turn the bottle of champagne over and it has that little indent to strengthen the bottle. And then you pour in champagne from their glass into it and you sip it out of the bottom of the bottle of champagne. And you've drunk champagne out of that bottle and you'll win it back.
God, you are so good. Drinks on Tom. Drinks on Tom.
It's my favorite bar trick. You can win a bottle of champagne anytime anyone's drinking one.
Oh, so good. So good. Oh, yes, you can have it all. You really can. I do know that. I needed to give that up. Yeah. All right, Tom. Well, I look forward to. It's now 10:06.
So one other distinction, just before you go, are you available for a phone call after this video now? Because this is tradition, and you should honor it.
You are very smart. Yes, I am. Thank you for mentioning that.
Nice.
Okay. All
right. Love you. Speak next week.
I love you too. Thank you, everyone, for being on this.
Much love.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to such a beautiful conversation. Have a lovely evening. Until next week, Tom. Love you guys. See ya. Bye.